We saw Jimmy Kimmel's show was canceled. I heard Mark Maron today talk about it. He said, you guys were so afraid of being canceled. You went out and you screamed and you yelled about being canceled. But the cancellation was coming from people who didn't like what you had to say, who didn't agree with what you were saying and were speaking out about it. This cancellation is the United States government coming and taking your voice away from you.
Yes, all of a sudden, out of the blue, claimed the Late Show was losing $40 million a year, and then miraculously got FCC approval to sell their company, which is what they wanted. And I guess that wasn't enough for El Presidente, because he posted, the word is, and it's a strong word at that, Jimmy Kimmel is next to go in the untalented late night sweepstakes, which is alarming because I don't know if you know this, Jimmy Kimmel is me.
Trump's presidency looked less like real leadership and more like a bloated reality show. Kimmel and Ruffalo cut through the spectacle, exposing a man who mistook confusion for charisma and applause for strategy.
Yes.
Do you think that you were poking the bear a little bit to see if they would,
No.
you know, by doing political stuff and all, or saying whatever is on your mind and risking viewership? Do you think you're kind of poking them a little bit to see what they would do?
No, and I really, this is just my, I don't know. This is, I really think that when they were trying to buy Fox, they were worried that Trump was going to screw them up somehow. And I think that was part of why they were nervous about my comments, you know.
So why does this matter? Why are people out here getting soaked in the rain to send a message?
Because we see our democracy is in real trouble. We see a president who has made himself a king and dictator, and we don't see an opposition that's powerful enough to stand up against the trampling of our rights and the trampling of the Constitution that's happening every single day.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Kimmel compares Trump's decision-making to slapstick comedy, where every policy lands like a bad punchline. Ruffalo underscores the danger governance turned into improvisation, leaving ordinary people to suffer. Together, they reveal a presidency powered by ego rather than service.
Okay, or as he has to be reminded not to call it, the uck. Paddington Unbearable is in England for an official visit with the royal family. Wait till he finds out tea time has nothing to do with golf. He's going to be very upset. The royals are expected to greet the president and first lady tomorrow, but some clever Brits are already rolling out, well, I wouldn't call it a red carpet exactly, but rather a King Kong-sized photo of Trump with his buddy Jeffrey Epstein.
Foreign diplomacy under Trump became a circus of awkward handshakes and hollow photo ops. Kimmel mocks the theatrics, while Ruffalo highlights how they left America weaker on the world stage. Summits felt less like serious strategy and more like press stunts.
And shortly thereafter, Fallon will be gone. These are people with absolutely no talent who are paid millions of dollars for, in all cases, destroying what used to be great television. It's really good to see them go, and I hope I played a major part in it. Oh, you delicate, chubby little teacup. Did we hurt your feelings? You want us to be canceled because we make jokes about you? I thought you were against cancel culture. I thought that was like their whole thing. When did you become so woke?
Trump paraded market highs as if he single-handedly created them, yet he never accepted blame for downturns. Kimmel skewers this one-sided boasting, while Ruffalo points to stagnant wages and growing inequality. Prosperity under Trump was smoke and mirrors, leaving the middle class behind.
We saw Jimmy Kimmel's show was canceled. I heard Mark Maron today talk about it. He said, you guys were so afraid of being canceled. You went out and you screamed and you yelled about being canceled. But the cancellation was coming from people who didn't like what you had to say, who didn't agree with what you were saying and were speaking out about it. This cancellation is the United States government coming and taking your voice away from you.
Trump's rambling speeches resembled failed comedy routines. Kimmel laughs at the nonsense, while Ruffalo warns that blurring truth and facts erodes democracy. What may sound laughable in delivery becomes dangerous when turned into policy.
For Frosty the Snowflake, the only place we are going is to New York. Once again, we are packing up our Hailey Bieber smoothies and headed to Brooklyn for a week of shows at BAM the Brooklyn Academy of Music, starting September 29th, ending October 3rd. And one of our guests that week, we have great guests lined up, will be my good friend Stephen Colbert. We have a lot to talk.
Trump thrived on petty feuds, treating politics like a school cafeteria fight. Kimmel mocked the childishness, while Ruffalo stressed how this wasted energy that could have solved real crises. On climate, Ruffalo exposed denial and destructive policies, while Kimmel joked that Trump only cared about the grass on his golf courses as the planet burned. On health care, Ruffalo revealed cruelty disguised as reform.
That sign, which, by the way, really put Kinko's to the test, is especially timely because this trip he's taking was planned by the UK ambassador to Washington, a guy named Peter Mandelson, who was fired last week when they found out he wrote one of the letters in the Jeffrey Epstein birthday book, which means Pete will not be there for the visit he planned, which is too bad. He and Trump would have had a lot of gross things to talk about, I'm sure. But
The constant turnover of Trump staffers played like a sitcom. Kimmel found humor in the chaos, while Ruffalo noted how it destroyed stability. Experts replaced by loyalists. Trump obsessed over crowd sizes, measuring success by applause instead of results, reducing the presidency to a never-ending ego show.
so you interrupted. His first instinct is to lie, and then his second instinct is to wrap that lie in another lie, like a Crunchwrap Supreme, you know? I know how to get him to admit he did this. All you have to do is say, that drawing is great. He will immediately take credit for it. And you know this is getting to him because he did something today that he rarely does. He said nothing all day. There were no press conferences, no cabinet meetings, no public signings, no chats with reporters on the lawn. He holed up in his office all day long. He took one phone call from NBC News this morning. They asked about the letter. He said, I don't comment on something that's a dead issue.
Ruffalo exposed the cruelty of Trump's immigration policies. Family separations, rejection of asylum seekers, and wall-building chants repeated like mantras. Kimmel mocked the slogans, pointing out that they reflected insecurity, not strength. On voting rights, Ruffalo called out Trump's hypocrisy, doubting elections while still claiming victory. This poisoned democracy, while scandals and chaos became a strategy to bury accountability.
We're here today to commemorate a life of an American that was killed by a Nazi on American soil. Let's say her name so Donald Trump can hear what's happened here. He's allowed these people. He's allowed fascism. He's allowed the KKK. He's allowed Nazis to show their ugly face. And we're here to remind them there's a cost for that. Americans have died because of it.
President Trump that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity.
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, for.From program.
The Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone. Well, go ahead, John.
What a little tattletale he is.
The legacy Trump seems to crave is one of power and dominance, but what Kimmel and Ruffalo reveal is a legacy of chaos, incompetence, and vanity. Instead of building coalitions, he builds walls of division. Instead of unifying, he inflames. Instead of planning, he improvises. History won't remember him as a leader, it will remember him as a cautionary tale, a warning wrapped in comedy and delivered by the very people he dismisses as irrelevant. And that's where the destruction hits hardest. Kimmel and Ruffalo don't just mock, they expose. They reveal how Trump's entire presidency is a fragile stage set, a spectacle propped up by bluster and bravado, collapsing under the weight of reality. Every brag becomes a punchline, every decision a parody, every act of ego another entry in the comedy archives. In the end, Trump's reign is less about governance and more about providing endless material for comedians and activists determined to remind the world that the emperor has no clothes. What was laughable in a late-night monologue translated into real struggles for citizens who bore the brunt of reckless leadership. Their combined take paints a portrait of a man obsessed with legacy, but unable to grasp that true influence comes from service, not showmanship.
Trump attacked the press as enemies while craving their attention. Kimmel ridiculed the irony, while Ruffalo warned of the danger in undermining free speech. National security also suffered from reckless leaks and impulsive tweets, putting global stability at risk. Even tragedies became stages for Trump's self-promotion. He sought stardom, not leadership.
So certain he didn't do this. Well, he's never lied before. Listen, even his lies have other lies on top of them. When the Wall Street Journal broke this story the first time, Trump said, I don't even do drawings. And then immediately, 25 drawings he did came out, like 10 seconds later, which he had to know would happen. But he can't help it. He can't just stop at, I didn't draw it. He goes straight to, I've never drawn. I don't even have a pen. Well, what's that Sharpie in your hand, Mr. No, that's not a Sharpie. That's mascara. I was about to do J.D. Vance's eyeliner.
Trump longed for a legacy of power, but Kimmel and Ruffalo revealed one of vanity, division, and chaos. Instead of uniting, he inflamed. Instead of planning, he improvised. Every boast turned into a punchline, every decision a parody. His presidency collapsed under reality, remembered less as governance and more as endless comedy fodder.
Tackled in a press conference representing his constituency with a question to the Homeland Security, who has invaded that state with a military presence, you know you're heading towards dictatorship. That's a turning point. You're only going to see more of that happen. This administration will continue to overreach, and this will be the response.
The chaos wasn't just about reckless words. It bent institutions under the weight of impulsive decisions. Instead of strengthening democracy, Trump fueled misinformation and eroded trust. Kimmel highlighted these contradictions through comedy, while Ruffalo revealed their tragic